Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Grizz, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Grizz, breaking down a wonderful slate of games from last night. We're talking about the 8-game slate. If you know the DFS Grizz, if you are a fan, a member, a subscriber, a hater, no matter what you are, as long as you are involved in the DFS Sweatshop, you know that I love the 8-game slates. That is where I personally feel most comfortable. I feel most comfortable when I put my core fours together. I feel most comfortable in 8-game slates, rostering around my core four. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I'm sure one of you smart motherfuckers, because y'all some smart motherfuckers, I'm sure one of y'all will figure out some analytics that will help me to see why I feel so much better with these 8-game slates. But it was a really nice state of games, a bomb-ass state of games, actually, man. Really fun night. We got to end the night off with a really good game. The Memphis Grizzlies came back from, 20-some-odd points down to beat the Golden State Warriors. I am a fan of the underdog, being a Knicks fan. It sucks to be a Knicks fan all these years. I ain't never seen the motherfuckers win. Funny story. A couple of years ago, I got a son. I have 5 children. I got a son. My son is 11 years old when he was 7. Now, mind you, I've been to quite a few Knicks games. I have never, ever seen them win in person. I've seen them win on TV, but I've never seen them win in person. So I take my son to this Knicks game. We go to Atlanta, right? Set it up. It's a very wonderful trip. We have a great time. We go to, we're downtown, Peachtree. 75, 85 was busy. It was crazy. So we was like, you know what, fuck it. We're going to just pull over and we're going to walk to the stadium. So we walked to the stadium and we're looking for somewhere to eat because we got about an hour and a half before tip-off. So we're looking for restaurants. Everything was packed. It was the game day. The Knicks were in town. Everybody's walking around looking like Simi and the Prince from Zamunda. Everybody from New York has on like a crazy New York garb, And people in Atlanta are like, what the fuck are these goobers, And we're all like from New York, son. We got on orange and blue and shit. So we get to this one place that is taking patrons, and it's a Hooters. So I look at my son. I'm like, yo, you want to go? And he looks at the girls. He's like, yeah, daddy. And he's like 7 years old, like his daddy. So we go in, we have a good time at Hooters. We heard him eat wings, blah, blah, blah. Go to the game. So we're at the game, and the Knicks are kicking ass. I'm talking Melo's jumper is going down. It's ridiculous. Wonderful basketball we're watching from the New York Knicks. This is when we first got Melo, right? So this is when the Heat were at the height of their dominance in the NBA. So we're kicking the shit out of the Hawks. And Hawks are pretty decent around this time too. So it all goes to shit. Fourth quarter, Knicks blow an 18-point lead. This kid that, of course, is an Atlanta Hawks fan was sitting next to us, and he was kind of sad at the beginning, but now he's cheering his ass off. And my son was cheering his ass off the whole game, and now he's kind of sad. And the kid is like making faces every time like one of the Atlanta Hawks players does something great to make us look stupid. And so we lose the game. We blow an 18-point lead, and my son looks at me, and I know he's mad because we came a long way. We came from South Carolina to watch the fucking Knicks blow an 18-point lead and be made to look the fool. So my son says, Dad, why did we lose? I said, son, as a Knicks fan, you got to understand that you may never see them win a championship. It's very, very hard. They won a championship last in 1973. I was born in 1978. I've never seen them win. He looks at me and he says, Dad, the Heat win all the time. So, thank you for blowing that one shot I had at making my son a lifelong Knicks fan. Maybe I don't even want him to go through that suffering that I've had to go through. But let's go ahead and jump into a really fun show. Man, we've got some great stuff in store for you today. We're going to start. I was issued a challenge in the Facebook VIP, man, because I had a couple of rough nights on the Core 4, didn't really hit that big 6X that we hit on Monday, and I kind of wanted to finish the week off properly so that we could put some coin in your pockets. You see what I'm saying? And, last night was pretty good. The Core was pretty good last night. It was a really nice Core. I think it was about 5.5, maybe 5.6X. It was pretty good because the cash line was so low. Well, we saw a similar occurrence tonight, and I kind of thought that going in, That's why when you see my core 4 roster construction, you're going to see I was shooting for more upside and guys that were going to be highly owned. Maybe they were going to be questionable at some point to injury, and we had to really stay in tune before lock to see if they were going to be playing. Just whatever reason, you're going to see that the guys that I had in my core were quite low owned. So I issued this challenge to the Facebook VIP. I say, well, look, since y'all giving me some shit and y'all have great plays, because I mean, this I'm telling you, the VIP, this is like the greatest minds I've ever seen when it comes to daily fantasy sports, basketball in particular. I mean, these are some sharp ass cats. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a poll, and y'all come up with y'all core 4. I'm gonna come up with my core 4. We're gonna go head up, have a core 4 showdown, see what's happening, right? So they got their core together by 2. I said, meet me back here at 2 p.m. with your motherfucking list. I got mine. I'm gonna get on y'all ass, right? So bam, we come up with these 2 core 4s. I looked at theirs and I looked at mine. I was like, damn, they should look kind of good. Maybe I should have thought of some of that shit. But I gotta stay true to me. I gotta stay true to me. If I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna stay true to who I am. And I have my core 4. That's who I'm rolling with. That's what I uploaded to the website. I even uploaded theirs to the website so that you could look at it and follow along and see who does the best. Let's go ahead and jump into a tail of the tape now. I'm gonna start with my core 4 because it's my show. And first, I'm gonna tell the truth because I had a really nice showing for my core 4, and I could say that whatever guy did the best was my favorite play in the core 4. I knew it all along, but that's not true. My favorite play in the core 4 barely made it worthwhile, and that's John Wall at 10.1K, 11% owned. So this dude was a stud in position to totally blow the doors off. This is a dude we know has 70+ point upside, right? So at 10.1K, 11% owned, he brings back 51.5 DraftKings points, exactly 5x value. Not what I was looking for. I mean, in a game like this, where I knew that the tempo was going to be dictated by the best player on the floor, being John Wall, I thought that he was going to be in position to get me at a floor 60. I was looking at 60 at a floor when I added him to the core 4. That's not what happened. He got 5x on the nose. Not horrible though. That's not going to kill you, because if a guy, it's like with Russell Westbrook, if a guy that's 12K or up 10K, whatever, if he gets 5x, that's 50 fucking points. You really can't shake a stick at that. It's your job to make up the difference in other spots, and it was my job, and that's what I set out to do. My next play was going to be Jabari Parker. Now this play had a lot to do with ownership, because I knew, recency bias is a thing. Recency bias. That is when something just happened, and you let the fact that it just happened, you base your decision making off the fact that it just happened. Some people, well, because it just happened, were of the mindset that I was. Well, many people are not going to go back to the well, so I'm going to start Jabari Parker, who was a snowflake the last time out. And that's what I did. And he had a very decent game, but his game was overshadowed by a member of the opposing team. Jabari Parker, 7.3K, 7.5% ownership, very low. He went out and scored 38.5 DraftKings points. At one point in the contest, he was leading everybody on the floor in fantasy points. He came out and really wanted to play well, but he just didn't get keep that momentum rolling into the second half. So that was a decent showing from him. The next play was a play that I kind of got from the cats in the sweatshop, man, because we chop it up all day long. I'm telling you, the Twitter is popping, the chat is now Poppington going on there, and also the VIP is off the meat rack. Like, everybody is always involved, and we talked a lot about targeting the Brooklyn Nets front court, most notably the center position. So that automatically, if there was any guy that I felt would go out and do the dirty work and maybe fuck around and get 10 points while getting a cheap double-double at his price point, was Tristan Thompson. He, in my opinion, was the safest center play on the board. Didn't have the most upside, but I really felt in this matchup he was the safest center play on the board. And at 4.5K, 10% ownership, so that was fairly low. He goes out and scores 33.25 DraftKings points, obliterates 6x value. Awesome there. So that was a guy that really played well for me in the core 4. The last play we're going to talk about, I knew that this guy was not going to be, I felt he wasn't going to be very highly owned, for the simple fact that, he just coming off of a little nagging injury. There was a lot of point guard depth on the slate. So I did go with Kyrie Irving at 7.8K, 19% ownership. He went out and scored 47.25 DraftKings points, just over 6x value. That was a nice play we had there in Kyrie Irving. Now, this core 4 together It was about 29.7K in salary. So I still had a touch over 20 grand to roster the other four cats in any spots because I did roll with this core like heavy. Like I rolled heavy with this core, and I'm going to show you when we jump into my lineup construction. I give you a brief synopsis of what took place there. This was supposed to bring me back at 5x, which is not horrible, especially on a night like tonight where the cash line was about 265. 5x is deal winnable, but it's not key. It's not key. At the very least, we want 5.5. At the very stone ground minimum. I don't give a fuck what a cash line is. If you ain't getting 5.5, man, I'm a little pissed. So at 5x, it was 148.5 DraftKings points. 6x, the target, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to live, was 178.2 DraftKings points. This core 4 brought me back 170.5 DraftKings points. So from that 6x value, I was minus 7.7 points. A really nice showing with a low cash line for this core 4. And these guys were 5.74x. That was really nice combined, because that's what we do. This is a combination, a culmination. There's a lineup. We're not just betting it all on one guy. You know what I mean? And that's part of our roster construction when we go into those things. Now, on the other side, the VIP. Now, I won this battle. And I got to say, it's by default, because it did have a guy that was baited into a little skirmish by Jordan Clarkson, the light-skinned dude that plays for the Lakers. He kind of baited Goran Dragic into, a little tussle, a fight or whatever, and they both got ejected from the game. So that is kind of what fucked up the VIP core 4. I'm gonna just tell you about it real quick. They started off with Goran Dragic, of course, 7.4K, 20% ownership. So that did fuck up a lot of lineups. The fact that he got ejected, and he got 25.25 DraftKings points. The next play they had was Evan Fournier, and I didn't really like Fournier very much. I just didn't. But they were pretty high on him, and also a lot of people were too, because he was 17% owned, had 5.8K. He had 25.25 DraftKings points. Not a very good showing there. And they also went with Giannis Antetokounmpo, 10.7K, 21% in ownership. He brought back 48 DraftKings points. Not a awesome showing there. Now, their best play, and a guy who, once I saw their reasoning, I put him in quite a few of my lineups. That was an awesome play. That was probably the best call that I've seen from anyone today. Like, that was an awesome call, because at 6.6K, very modest priced on this guy, 9% ownership. But you can get a guy at 6.6K, under 10% owned, to go out and get you 54 DraftKings points and Mike Conley and an overtime game. Because if you're going to roster Mike Conley in your roster build, you're going to look to other guys, because he's a point guard, he's a facilitator. You're going to look to other guys. So you get this guy in this situation in an overtime game. That was awesome. Great call from the Facebook VIP. He went out and just destroyed it. Great game there from him. Now their core 4 at 5x value, because this is a little more expensive than mine. They spent 30.5K in salary, so they had to hit on the other plays and surrounding plays in order for their core 4 to really for them to maximize the potential of their core 4. They needed 152.5 DraftKings points in order to make value at 5x. At 6x, they needed 183. So they shot a little higher for the moon than I did. Mine was a little bit safer. And they finished right there with 152.5 DraftKings points, exactly 5x value on a short slate. It didn't kill you, but they were minus 30.5 from the 6x value mark that we covet so much to get us inside the 300 club. Now that we've gone over the very first of many Facebook VIP versus DFS Jerusalem Core 4 showdowns, and let's talk about this for a minute. This is why this community is so fucking live, and this is why it's the best in the game, because I understand that it's not all about me, bro. It's not all about me. This is a collection of seasoned DFS players, new guys coming over from the NFL, everybody that is so eager to learn from each other, man. The iron sharpens the iron in the DFS sweatshop, and it's a beautiful thing. This is a grassroots movement. Like, this is some basic, like, ground level shit, where we're on some Robin Hood type of shit, where we're just taking it back from the rich, and we're putting it in our own pockets, in the pockets of our fellow DFS sweat shoppers. So get in where you fit in while you can. Get in. So let's go ahead and jump into the feature 4 players of the night. These are the most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIP, on the website chat, and on Twitter. Let's go ahead and jump into the first play. That is the who that scoring all them points over there player tonight. This has to go to Zebo. I'm talking 5.5K, 10% ownership, late night hammer, 51.25 DraftKings points. I should take my hat off to you. Zebo went out there and balled on him, and that's why tonight he's the who that scoring all the points over there player tonight, and we've got to look at him going forward. Right now, the next play we're going to talk about is the how did I miss that player tonight? This is a guy who we talked about on the show. This is a guy who was in our spreadsheets, and by the way, the spreadsheets tonight were fire. The spreadsheets tonight was fire. If you took the spreadsheet, the player pool, threw it in some kind of a optimizer, which we will be having soon for you. Actually, you threw it in an optimizer, and you tell it, hey, I'm gonna put this in there. Give me back 10 lineups. I guarantee 5 of them was gonna cash because I'm telling you, the spreadsheets were fire. They were fire tonight. They were going in. So the how did I miss that play goes to a guy who was on those spreadsheets. We talked about him on the show. We knew we weren't going to see Hassan Whiteside, and maybe Goran Dragic, getting dejected, leaned heavily or helped him out when it came to the usage. But it's Willie Reed, man. 4.2K, 16% ownership, went out and scored 47.25 DraftKings points, and an excellent showing from Willie Reed, and that's why he is tonight's how did I miss that play of the night, because I didn't have him anywhere. I fell so in love with the Tristan Thompson being such a safe play for me that I didn't take that risk and go all out on Willie Reed. The next play we're going to talk about is the heat check player tonight, and it can only go to one person. It's kind of weird. This is the first time that I'm giving this guy this award because last year he got it damn near every night. I'm talking at a certain point during the season last year, it was all about Steph Curry just stacking Golden State. They late game, late night hammer, just stack them, and you're going to get to the cash line. Well, he went out and went ham tonight. We're talking 8.5K, 14% ownership, went out and scored 58.5 DraftKings points, and that is why tonight you, Steph Curry, salute the heat check player of the night. Now we have to talk about that one motherfucker. This is somebody who fucked up 20% of lineups. And this is big. This is huge because none of us saw a game like this coming. Now, if I told you that the Houston Rockets and the the Orlando Magic in this game that was supposed to be a blowout, 15 point blowout. If I told you that this game was going to be a 4-point game in the fourth quarter and the Houston Rockets were going to end up winning by 7, if I told you that, what would you think James Harden was able to do? Well, that ain't what he did. That motherfucker was a snowflake. That's the most expensive snowflake I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking, this motherfucker was $1 million snowflake. James, you a motherfucking snowflake. Joe Snowflake ass. How the fuck you gonna go out and rob these people for damn 12,200 DraftKings points and you bringing back a measly punk ass 38.25 points? That's ridiculous. That's a robbery. Somebody lock him up. James Harden should be arrested. This is a travesty. This is bullshit. And guess what? Complete fade. I ain't had him nowhere because I just didn't trust. I didn't trust that he would go out and he would have one of those 70-point games. This is the danger in spending up that much for these dudes, man. Because when they have an off night, they will kill your whole shit. There's a difference between, Tristan Thompson having an off night and James Harden. Like you trust like more than a fifth of your complete salary to one guy. And some nights it'll help, some nights it'll hurt. But tonight, it hurt. And that's why you, James Harden, are a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Now let's go and move on with the rest of the show. Now, usually at this point in the show, what I do is go into my very best. I have to get my remote. jump into my very best core four lineup. I used to show my best lineup period, but I'm going to show you my best core four lineup. That's just for two reasons. Number one, I want you to trust the DFS gurus, and I want you to trust the guys that I'm talking about, the guys on my spreadsheet, the guys in the core four, the guys that we're all talking about are the guys I'm playing. Those are the guys I'm playing. I want you to understand that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into my very best core four lineup. And by the way, it was a very good night. I did end up doubling my buy-in. That is always a good thing when you're able to do that. So this has been a profitable week for me. Very profitable week for me. And that's all good. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Oh, here it is right here. Now, as you can see, this is a lineup that I really like. Like, I had this lineup in a lot of spots, man. And I had a question about, how many lineups do you run? Blah, blah, blah. What I do, man, if I really like a lineup, I'll enter it in as many tournaments as I feel like. Like I might enter the same lineup in 10, 15 times if I really like it. That's just how I do it. Let's go ahead and fix the brightness on the joint. There we go. Yeah, I had this lineup. As you can see, I had it in a lot of spots. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it, man. Because there's a few plays on here that I loved all day long. I was very high on them. We talked a little bit about them in the sweatshop. And there's one play that I just fucking dropped the ball on. We're going to talk about that too. So let's go ahead and check it out. Now, this is a core four lineup, like to the heart. Like, this is a definitive core four lineup. We're going to start, of course, with John Wall. We saw him. We talked about him. 51.5 DraftKings points. Jabari Parker was a part of the core four, 38.5. Ersan Ilyasova was almost a core four play. Like, I liked him just that much. I really did. But then when the news shifted about TJ McConnell is gonna be starting, and I don't know about this and this and that, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't go there or whatever. So Tristan Thompson, of course, he was a core four play as well as Kyrie Irving. Now, once I got hold to what was going on in the sweatshop and what everybody was talking about in the Facebook VIP, I said I gotta get somebody off of their core four because this looks really good. And the guy that I chose was probably their best play, definitely their best play. And it was Mike Conley. Went out and scored 54 DraftKings points. We talked about that. So what I ended up doing was I really felt that we were going to see some kind of scrub love in the Boston game. So I did like Marcus Smart. So I put him in there, and he went out and scored 35 DraftKings points at his price point. That was a really nice play there. I loved Ersan Ilyasova. That is a law in the sweatshop. We attack Boston, rebounding the basketball. And, of course, I'm down at 3.2K. So at this point, I've got this lineup already constructed. You see, is everybody here you see, and this is Brandon Ingram because we were uncertain about if we were going to see Luol Deng. We didn't know if we were going to see Luol Deng. Well, about maybe 30 minutes before lock, we get the news that Luol Deng is going to be playing. So I'm like, fuck, I got to get off of Brandon Ingram. So I'm scouring around, searching who the fuck can I get to play, outside of Brandon Ingram. I looked at Karis LeVert, and I looked at Karis LeVert. I looked at Michael Beasley, and I also looked at Mirza Teletovic. And you know what? I said, fuck it. I'm gonna split it up. I'm gonna put Karis LeVert in my FanDuel lineup over here. I'm gonna put Teletovic in this lineup over here, and I'm gonna put Michael Beasley in this one. And it just so happened this motherfucking snowflake goes out and scores 5 DraftKings points. This lineup netted me a total of 300.5 DraftKings points with a bottom-dwelling snowflake. If this dude does anything, if that's Brandon Ingram, who should have been everywhere, if that's Karis LeVert, if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. Fuck it, we move on to the next night. Still a very good showing for us here in the DFS sweatshop. Anytime we get the W buy-in, that's all good. We love that. So let's go ahead and jump into a very quick recap of last night's games. We're going to do this quickly because we've got a lot to cover. We've still got another 8-game slate. That's right in your boy wheelhouse. So I'm ready to rock on that 8-game slate. Let's go ahead and pull up the logo. And it's nice to see the logo everywhere, man. Cats were winning tonight. Had some really good showings in the sweatshop for the fam, and that's always a good thing whenever we see those quality wins come from one of our own. All right, so we're all set. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a quick recap of last night's games. We're going to start in Orlando, where the Houston Rockets came to town. Now, this was supposed to be a blowout. It was supposed to be a blowout, but it wasn't. On the Houston side, we saw a decent game from a few guys, man, but just not the powerful game that we thought we were going to see from one of the main characters in the NBA. This is James Harden. He played 34 minutes and had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, and 1 steal. He shot 5 for 15, 33%. That's what's really affected his game, but he went 0 for 8 from 3. And when James Harden does not hit a three-pointer, you can look for a bad night for not only him, but the Houston Rockets as a whole. So they were scrapping to win this game. Pat Beverly, man, is he hurt? Because he just had 17 points and 9 rebounds to go with 3 assists and 3 steals. Shot 7 for 9 from the field and 3 for 4 from 3-point. Pretty great game we saw there from Pat Beverly. Eric Gordon off of the bench continues to light it up, man. 31 minutes. He had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. He did go 7 for 20. This is the second game in a row shooting a bunch of shots and missing, but he still scored some points off of the bench, and he had the green light to do whatever he wanted to do. Ryan Anderson had 19 and 3 to go with 2 steals in his 33 minutes, and we saw a kind of decent game in the first half from Trevor Ariza, but he definitely tails off in the second. He finished with 13 points to go with 6 boards and 2 assists, shot 5 of 10 from the field in 29 minutes. We saw a nice game from Sam Dekker. We talked about that. Talked about him later on last night's show. 7 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And at 3.4K, that's kind of all you need. That's all you really need to stretch that piece of salary so you can get and pay for somebody else that you think is going to really ball hard. On the Orlando side, we saw a really nice game from Serge Ibaka, man. 16 and 12 to go with 1 assist, 8 for 17, so that was 47% in his 33 minutes. We saw a nice game from Aaron Gordon again. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. That was a really good showing from him in his 35 minutes. Bismack Biyombo didn't do much. 2 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals in his 19 minutes. And Evan Fournier, we talked about him. He underwhelmed in his 35 minutes, had 10 and 9 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. Elfrid Payton underwhelmed as well. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Not a great game there from him. And Nikolai Vucevic had 9 and 12 to go with an assist. Probably the best play value on this game, aside from Aaron Gordon, was DJ Augustin. In his 29 minutes, he had 19 points and 1 rebound to go with 2 assists and a steal. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Washington Wizards at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I really like this game going in. I thought this was going to be a very high-paced game. I thought we were going to see a lot more scoring and assisting of the basketball, but this wasn't a very good game, man. I mean, Washington kind of jumped on them real quick, and they did try to make a late surge. But if you want to talk about a guy who is scoring at an amazing rate right now, but he just doesn't do enough in the way of peripherals, that's Andrew Wiggins, man. 41 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 2 steals, and we need more from him in those other areas so he can make that jump to being like a just a really solid day in and day out fantasy play. Gorgie Jang was a really nice play in this game. In his 39 minutes, he had 15 and 11 to go with 2 assists and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. That was nice. Karl Anthony Towns had 18 points and 10 boards to go with 5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And it doesn't sound horrible. But when you're almost 10K in salary, man, we need more from you on that one. We just do. We need more. We didn't see much else. Zach LaVine shit the bed in his 37 minutes, had 8 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists. And usually it's hard for me to roster, multiple guys from this team. I used to think, I thought coming into the season, man, oh my God, they're so, stacked with talent. This is going to be such a stackable offense, blah, blah. And it is. I mean, they're all good players, but they just don't all play well. They don't all play well simultaneously. And I guess that's why they can't translate all that talent into quality wins. On the Washington Wizards side of the ball, we talked about John Wall already. He had 18 points and 18 assists to go with 2 rebounds and 2 steals. So that was a very decent game from him while shooting 50% from the field. He did take 1 3-point shot and missed it. Brad Beal continued his hot shooting streak and had 22 points to go with 2 rebounds and 3 assists while shooting 58% from the field. Saw a nice game in the beginning from Markieff Morris. I thought he was going to come and steal the show, but he ended up turning into Markieff Morris in the second half. He had 15 points and 6 boards to go with 1 assist. Not a great game from him, but he didn't kill you if you did roster him. Otto Porter in his 34 minutes had 17 and 6 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks while shooting 58% from the field. That was a really nice showing from him. And he also hit 3 threes, which was really big. Jason Smith off the bench had 10 and 3 to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game for him at that minimum salary price point. The next game we're getting to is going to be the Boston Celtics at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, funny thing is, I had a complete fade of Isaiah Thomas. There are times, man, when everybody just gets on a guy. And you can take a chance to be like, yo, if this dude is going to be like 25% owned, you mean to tell me if I fade him, especially on a slate that was so deep at his position, at the point guard position, if I fade him and the odds are in my favor that he doesn't have a 60-point game or like he did the other night, go for 66, the odds are in my favor that he doesn't do that. But I still can get similar production. If he has a dud, that's even better. And that's kind of what happened tonight. We didn't see a very great game from IT2. He did play 34 minutes. He had 24 points and 4 rebounds to go with 3 assists. Now, it wasn't a bad game, from a basketball standpoint, but from a fantasy point of view, man, we need a double-double. We need a big double-double with some 3-pointers in order to justify that salary. We saw a good game from Al Horford, 19 and 12 to go with 4 assists and 2 blocks. Now, I did have quite a bit of Avery Bradley. I thought he was going to be in a really great spot in this game, and he did prove to be a good play. He fell 1 rebound shy of that double-double bonus that we like, but in 35 minutes, he had 26 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal while shooting 41% from the field. If he shoots his regular 48% from the field, this is a really good play. But it is what it is. Marcus Smart, we talked about him earlier, was a great play, man. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists to go with the steal and 2 blocks. He did shoot 33% from the field. That wasn't very good there. But at his price point, he was definitely a really, really good play. So, the Philadelphia side, Ersan Ilyasova was somebody who I liked all day. I just liked him. I just thought he was in a great spot. We knew that we're going to see the minutes restriction on Joel Embiid, so he's kind of locked into playing some center minutes when he is on the floor. When he does, he's a really good rebounder as well as he can score in the low block. I did like him. He had 20 points, 2 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, shooting 38% from the field. This was not a very good shooting game for the entirety of the Philadelphia 76ers, which is probably why they lost the game. Robert Covington in 35 minutes had 9 and 3 to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting 33% from the field. And probably the play of this game, not probably, without a doubt, the play of this game was TJ McConnell, man. This dude, 17 assists, 4 boards, 9 points, 2 steals. Great game from him while shooting 66% from the field. This dude scored 9 real-life points, but hit like 40-some-odd DraftKings points. Excellent game from him. Nerlens, man, had a nice game off of the bench. In his 24 minutes, he had 13 and 8 to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. And you got to kind of think, man, something's going on, man, because Jahlil Okafor just didn't see the court. So either, and I would say, well, maybe they're showcasing Nerlens Noel so they can trade him. You don't showcase a dude for fucking, 25 minutes. You don't showcase a dude for 25 minutes while leaving a guy that you plan to keep completely off the roster on the bench. So I got a feeling Jahlil Okafor is going to be the one to leave Philadelphia, not Nerlens Noel. But we want to keep in touch and make sure we get the real deal on that. Next, we're looking at Gerald Henderson, man. 29 minutes, he had 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist to go with the block. Pretty good game from him. Now, Dario Saric was somebody who I thought was going to have a much better game. As you know, I like to target the Boston rebounding. In his 22 minutes, he had 8 points and 7 boards to go with 1 assist. Not a good game from him in the least. The next game we're going to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the score of this game finished at 116 to 108, but this game was a lot closer than the score says, man. They were in this game for damn near the whole game. Well, till deep into the third quarter, they were in this game, and it was a really good showing from a lot of the Brooklyn Nets players, especially the bench guys. That's what we talked about last time. But Trevor Booker in his 31 minutes had 13 points and 12 boards with 4 assists. We saw a really nice game from Bojan Bogdanovic In his 31 minutes, he had 23 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal, while shooting 64% from the field and 5 for 9 from 3. Good game there. Brook Lopez underwhelmed, of course, as we thought he would. In 33 minutes, he had 17 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. And we saw a really nice game from Isaiah Whitehead off the bench. He doubled in 30 minutes, had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Really good game there from him. And Karis LeVert, man, somebody who I was on all day. I kind of like Karis LeVert, and I had him in a few spots. He went out and in 27 minutes had 19 points to go with 4 boards and 5 assists. Pretty decent game there. On the Cleveland side, man, LeBron got into it, man. He fell 1 board short of a double-double bonus, but he did have 36 points to go with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals while shooting 70% from the field in 35 minutes. Great game there from LeBron. Kevin Love, we saw him for 36 minutes. He did double-double with 17 points and 13 boards. Also chipped in 2 assists. Pretty good game there, but he shot horribly. 31% from the field, 5 for 16. Not good for Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson fell 1 rebound shy of that double-double bonus, man. He had 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting 3 for 3, 100% from the field. Pretty good game there. But he missed like a million free throws. Like, he hit 4 free throws and took 13. It was horrible. It was so bad. Like, that was not cool. That kind of fucked up a little bit for me there. I didn't appreciate that at all. Kyrie Irving, man, 32 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And his 35 minutes, that was a very nice game from him, as he was a member of the core 4. He also shot 38% from the field. It wasn't a very good shooting game for everybody except LeBron and Tristan Thompson. So it was a pretty rough game to watch, but they got it done, and we did extract some good fantasy value off of those teams. The next game we're going to talk about, the Milwaukee Bucks at home with my New York Knicks coming to town. Carmelo Anthony does it again, man. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal. Shot 40% from the field, hit 4 or 5 3-pointers in his 39 minutes. Excellent game there. I was kind of gun-shy on rostering Kristaps. Didn't have him in any spots just because coming off of that sore knee, I didn't know how much he would be out there, how much he would exert into this game. And he played 29 minutes, had 24 points and 6 rebounds with 3 blocks. Pretty decent game from him, but I didn't have any of them. We also saw a really nice game from Kyle O'Quinn. He had 9 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in his 25 minutes. Derrick Rose, he played 31 minutes and had 12 points to go with 2 rebounds and 8 assists. Not much else we saw from the New York Knicks side. On the Milwaukee Bucks side, though, we saw a really nice game from Greg Monroe, man. 27 minutes off of the bench. He had 19 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Shot 54% from the field. Very nice game there. Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't have that Giannis game that we thought we were going to see in this matchup. 38 minutes for him. He had 25 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. And he got off to a fast start. And that's kind of not characteristic of his game. Usually, he starts kind of slow and then picks up later. He started out fast and really didn't keep that momentum going into the third and fourth quarters. We saw a nice game from Tony Snell at his price point. 38 minutes for him. He had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Shot 5 for 6 from the field and 3 for 4 from 3-point. That is not going to happen very often. I'm glad we got a piece of that when we did. Malcolm Brogdon in his 30 minutes, because we knew that Matthew Dellavedova was not going to be playing with that right hamstring strain. He went out, Brogdon that is, and had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in his 30 minutes, shooting 4 for 9 from the field at 44%. That was a pretty decent showing from him. The next game we're going to talk about is the LA Lakers at home, blowing the doors off of the Miami Heat. Really nice Laker ball we saw here, but we're going to start on the Miami side, where we saw an awesome game from the How Did I Miss That Player Tonight, Willie Reed, man. 22 points, 12 boards, 2 assists, and 3 blocks while shooting 66% from the field like a big man should, and no threes. You hear that, Boogie? No threes. Very good game we saw from Willie Reed. Saw a nice game from Tyler Johnson, because Gordon Dragic only played them 22 minutes before he got kicked out. Tyler Johnson had a posterization dunk in the game, man. Went ham on a cat and scored 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty good game there from him. We saw a nice game from Josh Johnson, man. We talked about him a lot on the show and in the DFS Sweatshop website. 33 minutes, he had 20 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. Pretty nice game there from him. Josh Richardson underwhelmed in his 30 minutes. He had 6 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Not much else we can get into from the Miami side. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Golden State Warriors at home defending the Oracle against the Memphis Grizzlies, where they came near and they kicked their ass in overtime. Boy, they did that. That was a nice game to watch, man. Very nice game to watch. On the Memphis side, we saw Chandler Parsons for like 15 minutes. He did score 10 points and have a rebound and a steal. So I think he's going to be rounding into shape pretty soon, and he's going to be a viable fantasy option as long as the price stays low. Mike Conley, man, we talked about him already. 27 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Shot 3 for 9 from 3, but he shot 52% from the field. That was a really good game from him. Zach Randolph in 35 minutes had 27 and 11 to go with 6 assists. Pretty good game there. He shot 70% from the field, hitting 12 of 17 shots. Saw a nice game from Zach Randolph. Pretty good game we saw from Tony Allen, man. I was on him all day. I really liked him a lot. He played 47 minutes, played a ton of minutes, and had 11 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, and 6 steals while shooting 5 for 16 from the field. If this dude has a better day shooting, I could have won a fairly decent amount of money. Pretty good game there we saw from him at any rate. Marc Gasol played 40 minutes, had 23 and 5 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal in his 40 minutes, shooting 50% from the field. And he also didn't hit a 3-pointer. He took 2, but he didn't hit a 3-pointer. So, pretty decent game from Marc Gasol. On the Golden State side, we saw Kevin Durant, man, for 42 minutes, and he had 27 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. Pretty good game there from him. Draymond Green had 11 and 8 to go with 4 assists and 3 steals, and Steph Curry, the heat check player tonight, dropped 40 points to go with 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. 55% from the field, shooting 15 of 27, and he hit 5 for 13 threes. Pretty decent game there from Steph Curry, and that's why he was the night's heat check player tonight. Klay Thompson, man, who was questionable going into this game, there was a chance he wasn't going to play at all, but he did have 17 points to go with 6 rebounds and 2 assists. It is funny because the guy's questionable. He might not play. He's sick. Everybody's sick. The whole league is sick, and the dude plays 40 fucking minutes. Go figure. It's crazy. Last game on the slate, it's going to be the Sacramento Kings at the crib, taking on the LA Clippers. This is a game where we did see Chris Paul. He came back and he had a fairly decent game. At the last minute, I was able to sneak him into a couple of lineups with DeAndre Jordan, because that is the only circumstance I would roster DeAndre Jordan in, is if we do see Chris Paul playing with him. And just to take a look at it, man, DeAndre Jordan played 36 minutes, fell 1 rebound shy of a double-double bonus. Now, if I asked you, what do you think DeAndre Jordan will do tonight? Score 20 points or grab 9 rebounds? What do you think? You would swear he's going to get the 20. He had 20 and 9. Which one is the 20? Which one is the 9? You would say, man, he probably had 9 points and 20 boards. No. DeAndre had 20 points and 9 boards. That is a straight correlation between his play without Chris Paul and his play with Chris Paul. With Chris Paul on the court, DeAndre Jordan is an offensive threat. Definitely. 36 minutes, 20 points, 9 boards, 2 steals, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Shot 90% from the field, 9 of 10, because Chris Paul was giving out dimes. So we had a nice game from DeAndre Jordan. Chris Paul, in his 31 minutes, had 14 and 12 to go with 6 rebounds and 3 steals. Pretty good game there. Raymond Felton had 5 and 3 to go with 2 assists. But the coach's son was a fairly decent play. He had 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists while shooting 9 for 15 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. Really nice shooting day out from him. We saw Mo Spates for 11 minutes, and in 11 minutes he grabbed 11 boards and had 7 points to go with an assist. Pretty good game for him rebounding the basketball. JJ Redick had 19 and 4 to go with an assist in his 32 minutes. Shot 46% from the field and 5 for 9 from 3. Luke Mbah a Moute did nothing. He had 6 points and 2 boards. Not a great game from him. On the Sacramento side, we finally saw another good Boogie game. Boogie always plays well against the Clippers. Note that. Duly noted. He does always play well against the Clippers. And tonight, he had 25 and 11 to go with 7 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And he went 3 for 8 from 3-point. Stop shooting them fucking threes, Boogie. Stop. Damn. 3 for 3 from the free throw line. 7 for 17. 9 for 19 from the field goal percentage, 47%. That wasn't horrible, but we needed a big guy like that, man. You've got to get around 60%. 58% is where you should live, man. You're that big, you're that strong, you're that good around the basket. Get your ass away from the three-point line and get down there and bang like everybody else is supposed to. So Rudy Gay, in his return to action, had 33 minutes, 18 points, and 7 rebounds with 1 assist. Pretty good game there. Matt Barnes had 4 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He did make value with that. Had 24 minutes, had a pretty decent game there. We saw a nice game from Darren Collison. This is a couple nice games in a row for him. He had 20 points and 5 boards to go with 2 assists. And I think maybe they kind of figured something out where they're going to roll Collison out at the 2 guard and allow Ty Lawson to kind of run point. In his 36 minutes, Lawson had 17 and 4 to go with 6 assists and 1 steal. And that's something I think is going to be very fantasy friendly, having both of them on the floor at the same time. I just think Darren Collison is better off the ball as a 2. I just like him better in that spot. Now that we've recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into the player pricing for tomorrow's 8-game slate. And you know why we do this, man? Because we want to. I want you to see my first look. The first time I look at this, because I haven't looked at it at all. Usually, the first thing we think about a lineup or about a slate is going to be something that we can use going into the next slate. So. All right. Go and put it up here. Go. And we're going to go ahead and jump in. And tomorrow, another 8-game slate. You know how I rock with those, man. I love those. And the beauty of this, a lot of times on Saturdays, when we have these 8-game slates, it's like, oh, a game starts at 12 and a game is at 2. So you don't really get the full girth of an 8-game slate. You get, bits and pieces, and the all-day slate sucks. But we got football earlier today, so that's why we're rolling with a full 8-game slate that starts at 7 o'clock. So let's go ahead and open this up. And immediately, the very first thing we see is that I am not paying this much for Russell Westbrook. 12.9K. It's 13,000. Let me get my calculations out. 13,000 in salary. That's what they're asking for this dude. That's insane. That's ludicrous. So, in order for him to meet value, we need 77.4 DraftKings points from Russell Westbrook. I'm good on that. You can take that shit to somebody else. I don't want it. We've got the Boston Celtics at home with Anthony Davis coming to town. We attack Boston, rebounding 10.6K. I like that a lot. I like Anthony Davis tomorrow. Jimmy Butler at 8.9 going against Toronto. I like that. Karl Anthony Towns at 8.7. I don't like him. Dame Lillard, no, is a no for me at 8.6. Well, the game is in the Motor Center. And this is a guy who, we don't have to, deal with, the matchup, the point guard he's matching up against is so good, Reggie Jackson defense. We don't have to get hung up on that. This is an elite, superior talent. We can look to Dame Lillard tomorrow if we see it necessary. Isaiah Thomas at a bounce back spot, yes. 8.5, yes, I like that tomorrow. Kyle Lowry, we can go Kyle Lowry at 8.4. This third-ranked DVP was when the team was structured kind of differently, with Rondo going to the bench, and now we see Michael Carter-Williams, who's a solid defender. I think we still can look to Kyle Lowry tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard with the Charlotte Hornets, 8.1. Yes, is in play, especially since we're not going to be seeing Nick Batum tomorrow. So we can definitely look to Kawhi Leonard. DeMar DeRozan is in play at 8.1. I like him. Paul George, 8K against the Knicks. Yes, I like that. Kemba Walker at 7.9 against the Charlotte Hornets. He is in play for me. He's in play for me. But I'm not gonna go hard. He's in play, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna like roster him a lot. Matter of fact, nah. Against San Antonio, there's better places to go. I mean, he is rosterable, but there's better places I think to go on this slate. CJ McCollum at 7.8 is a no for me. Jeff Teague, of course, I like Jeff Teague at 7.7 against my Knicks. Carmelo Anthony, he is in play at 7.6. Andre Drummond, yes, against the Portland Trail Blazers at 7.6. Paul Millsap, he's in play against Dallas, 7.5. I like him. Gordon Hayward to bounce back, the fifth-ranked DVP against the small forward position. This is real. This is real. Yo, Minnesota bottles small forwards up. I don't want any part of Gordon Hayward tomorrow. Nikola Jokic, he's questionable. We need to find out if he's going to be playing. If he is, I do like him at 7.3. Miles Turner, yes, definitely Miles Turner. Now, he had an awesome game out, so the ownership is going to be a little higher than it normally would be. So roster him knowing that a lot of other guys are going to be on him too. But I do like him tomorrow. Rudy Gobert, 7.1. I kind of like him tomorrow. LaMarcus Aldridge, we can attack Charlotte rebounding the basketball. Yes, I do like him. Drew Holiday is in play at 7K for me. Dwight Howard is a no. Kristaps is a no for me. I got to see a good Kristaps game before I jump back on him. Reggie Jackson, yes, I like him at 7K. I like him. Nick Batum is going to be out tomorrow. Al Horford is in play at 6.7. Vic Oladipo is somebody who I do like at 6.6. The price is still kind of down on him. He only went up 600. I do like him. Dennis Schroeder against the Dallas Mavericks. They're not as good as the point guard against point guards as the DVP says they are. And Dennis Schroeder, man, he's having a really solid year. I don't think going up against Dallas is the reason to turn away from him. Harrison Barnes at 6.4 is a play I don't like very much. George Hill, I don't think you're going to see him tomorrow at 6.3 anyway. Tobias Harris is in play at 6.2 for me. Avery Bradley is in play at 6.1. I like him tomorrow. Zach LaVine is a no for me. Dwayne Wade is a no for me. Andrew Wiggins, no, I don't have to. It's not something I have to do. Utah, slow pace. I don't have to go with Andrew Wiggins because he's not going to do enough. If he can't score, he's useless. And I don't need that headache. Darren Williams, yes, 6K, I like him. Derrick Rose, yes, against Jeff Teague defense, I like him. Mason Plumlee, of course, I like the Plum Dog. The price has not moved, man. The price has not moved. Mason Plumlee, we can score. We can score against Andre Drummond. I do like him tomorrow. And he's going to pull him away from the basket. Maybe I don't like Andre Drummond as much tomorrow because he works at the top of the key a lot. So I do like Mason Plumlee. Paul Gasol at 5.8. Yes, if we're going to be attacking the Charlotte rebounding. Steven Adams is a yes for me at 5.7, especially if we don't see Nikola Jokic. Wilson Chandler, yes, 5.6. Thad Young, yes, at 5.5. No KCP for me. I usually catch KCP once he has a good game because he has good games in streaks. Like he have three good games, two stinkers, two good games, three stinkers. So he's got to have a good game for me to jump back on him. Danilo Gallinari is in play at 5.4. I like him. We can look to Joakim Noah at 5.4. I like that. Jay Crowder is definitely in play at 5.3. Gorgie Jang is a no for me. Wesley Matthews is in play for me at 5.3. We got to see what happens as far as the starting rotation goes in Atlanta because we know Kyle Korver was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we want to check up on that. Price is still down on Derek Favors, so I do like him tomorrow at 5.2. And at some point, there's going to be a great Derek Favors game at a low price. It's just going to have to be because the price is going to go up depending on how much we roster him and how much points he scores. And he hasn't been like killing it, but he's going to at some point. I think tomorrow could be that time. I like Derek Favors tomorrow. In his canter, if you wanted to attack the Denver second team at the center position, I do like him tomorrow. Jonas Valanciunas, yes, against Robin Lopez, yes, all day. Rajon Rondo is out of the rotation. Ricky Rubio is a no. Michael Carter-Williams, the price went up on him. I don't know why. He was just 4K. He didn't have a great game. Now it's 5K. I'm good on that. Dirk Nowitzki is a yes for me at 5K. I kind of like him to play well and to get more minutes than he got last time out. Tony Parker is a no for me. Taj Gibson, yes, at 4.9. I like John Lewis at 4.9 as well. Alfred Camino is a no for me tomorrow. Will Barton, no. Marcus Morris, no. Gary Harris, yes, I like Gary Harris. No, I don't like Gary Harris tomorrow. He's going to be going up against Vic Oladipo, who is a really solid defender. Oladipo is a really solid defender, too. They might cancel each other out. We got to look closely at that. MKG is a no for me. Shelvin Mack, Yes, if we know that we're not going to see George Hill, I like Shelvin Mack tomorrow. The price is down to 4.6. I like that. Emmanuel Mudiay could be a decent play at 4.6 as well. Maurice Harkless is a yes for me. Marvin Williams is a no for me. Marcus Smart, yes at 4.5. This game could get out of hand. I like him. Terrence Jones is a really interesting play at 4.5 if we want to attack the Boston rebounding situation. I do like Terrence Jones. Rodney Hood is a no for me. Miritich 4.5. Yes, Kent Bazemore is dead to me still. Kenneth Faried probably is not going to play tomorrow. 4.4. No. Thawis Valosha, he isn't play for me at 4.4 just because we know Kyle Korver is gone. That's going to see an increase in minutes for either him and or Tim Hardaway Jr. Buddy Hield, 4.3 is a no for me. Robin Lopez is in play at 4.3. He's very cheap. I like that. Lil Bra, 4.3 is a no. Evan Turner is a no for me. Cody Zeller is probably not going to play tomorrow. Tyreek Evans is a no for me. Frank Kaminsky, if he does play, yes. If we don't see Cody Zeller and he's like the first guy off of the bench, second guy off of the bench, I like Frank Kaminsky tomorrow. Tim Frazier is out of the rotation. Joe Ingles is a no. JJ Barea is not going to play tomorrow. Tim Hardaway Jr., yes, at 4K. Kyle Korver, of course, he's not going to be playing. He's playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, so don't worry about that. Jeremy Lamb is a yes for me at 4K. I like him. If I'm going to go anywhere against San Antonio, I'm going to be going to the Charlotte bench. Amir Johnson, 3.9 is a no. Terrence Ross, yes at 3.9. Brandon Jennings, yes at 3.9. Courtney Lee, no at 3.9. Monte Ellis, no. Danny Green, yes, 3.9. I like that. Damari Carroll is not in play for me. Dougie McBuckets is at 3.8, though. Glenn Robinson III, no. Alan Crabb, no. Aaron Baines, he's probably not going to be playing tomorrow. If he does, we may see some more Boban. Who knows? Manu Ginobili is in play for me at 3.8. Marco Bellinelli, yes, he's in play at 3.8. Andre Roberson, yes, at 3.7, especially if you find yourself rostering Russell Westbrook and you can need to find somebody on the team to stack him with. You can definitely go with Andre Roberson. Had a good game out last time. Norman Powell is a no. Patty Mills, no. Yusuf Nurkic at 3.6. The price is up from 3.2. I think we can look at him tomorrow. I think we can, especially if we don't see Kenneth Reed. He's just going to be out there getting minutes. So you got a lot of good games, man. 3.6 for Kylo Quinn. Yeah, I like that. A lot of good games. A lot of action. The price is down on CJ Miles. He can play very well against the Knicks off of the bench, especially if we know we're not going to see Rodney Stuckey. 3.4K is a really good price for him. Let's go ahead and find us a 3K guy. A guy at 3K that we can like. Yeah. Kuzminskis could be a decent play. Solomon Hill could be a decent play. Jonas Jerebko at 3K. Sheik Diallo, no. Agenza, no. Ashik. Both of these guys, one of these guys are going to start. So if we're attacking Boston rebounding, one of these guys are going to start. It's probably going to be Omar Ashik. 3K for a starter against a horrible Boston defense. The dude grabs 8 boards and scores 6 points and blocks a shot and picks up a steal. Like, he's at 20 points, you're good. 6x all day long. So we want to look at that too in those respects. Now we've got Tyler Zeller is out. That's why they picked up Donatas Montejunas at 3K. No for me. He's got a place on first. Chris Dunn at 3K is a no. Dante Exum is probably going to play, but we don't want anything to do with that. Namia Bielita. So this is Slim Pickens, boy. Jamal Murray at 3K. That could be somebody. Jameer Nelson at 3K. That could be a good play. So there are a few cheapies that we can take advantage of. Joffrey Lavergne, revenge game. 3K, that's the narrative. Joffrey Lavergne, revenge. Like that. Yep. So, let's go ahead and jump into the point totals very quickly. We're going to do this so that we know where we want to invest our salaries. What games do we want to target? And we get those by looking at 2 things. Number one thing, the first thing we want to look at is the overall scheme of the point totals. How many points are supposed to be scored in this game? These are Vegas lines. Vegas is probably the most accurate source when it comes to projecting the point totals. And I get mine from Bovada. That's what I use. I use Bovada, really good, reputable site. So let's go into the first game. It's going to be my New York Knicks going to Indiana to take on the Pacers. It's a 215-point total. We're looking at minus 7.5 going in favor of the New York Knicks. So the Knicks are getting 7 points, 7.5 points. Uh, you know, I don't see any reason why we can't get quite a few guys from this game in our rosters. And I say that I'm talking about maybe 4 guys. I like Miles Turner in this game. I like Paul George. I like Jeff Teague. On the Indiana side, I think C.J. Miles can be a really nice play. This is a stackable offense, a stackable game. It just is. And you know, uh, there are enough low point totals that where we can treat this like a 6 game slate and stack. We got a couple low point totals on the slate that we can just avoid altogether and just hope nobody like goes turkey ham. You know, we can do that. On the Knicks side, Melo's definitely in play. We talked about Kyle O'Quinn a little bit at his cheaper price point. Derrick Rose against Jeff Teague is definitely in play. You look at the New York bench. Baker got a lot of minutes last time. The team's on the back-to-back. I don't even think we're going to see. Well, we may not see as much Porzingis as we would on a normal night, a normal occasion, because this is a back-to-back for them. But Indiana is rested, so I would lean more towards rostering players from the Indiana side if I was gonna, have multiple players from this game. Next game we're gonna talk about is the Boston Celtics at home, giving up 6.5 to the New Orleans Pelicans. This is a 214.5 point total. That is the the third highest point total on the slate. And I really like IT2 to bounce back in this one. I think we can look to him definitely. I think we can also go to Avery Bradley in this game. I think he's going to be a nice play. Even Marcus Smart off of the bench can be a decent play. Now, if you want to go Horford, you can. I'm not going to have him in many spots if I do have him at all, just because, I like to attack Boston front court. So I rarely roster Boston front court players. Sometimes it hurts, but most of the time, this is the law in a sweatshop. We can attack Boston rebounding. And that's why I like Anthony Davis a lot tomorrow. I think Terrence Jones can be a decent play if you don't want to spend up to Davis, but you want to attack Boston rebounding. You're looking at Omar Ashik as well as Terrence Jones coming up off of the bench. Ashik doesn't get a lot of minutes, but he does start. So that's the risk that you're going to be taking if you wanted to roster, the starting center for the New Orleans Pelicans. Buddy Hield is not in play for me in this one. I don't like him very much. Drew Holiday, yes, I kind of like Drew Holiday in this matchup. I think he has a nice bounce back game, especially since he didn't play very well last time out. I don't think the ownership is going to be as high as it was on him. Last time it was about 17%. I see it being lower than that, maybe around 11, 12% ownership on this 8-game slate. Next game we're going to talk about Chicago Bulls at home in a 208 point total, receiving 2.5 points from the Toronto Raptors. There's going to be quite a few times where I tell you to fire up Lowry and DeRozan. There's going to be some times when I say that. Tomorrow's not one of those times. I wouldn't do it. I'd pick one of them, and if I had to, I would go more so Lowry than I would DeRozan, because there's a good chance on switch-offs and things of that nature we're going to see, Dwayne Wade, who is a really capable defender. We're going to see Dwayne Wade or Jimmy Butler on DeRozan. Now, DeRozan is good. He's really good. Really good. But, I don't see him like going off in this game. I think when they talk about go-off potential from the Toronto side, I think, the one who has the most of it is Kyle Lowry. So he's probably the only guy that I would roster with the confidence that it took to spend that much in salary. Now, Jonas Valanciunas on a low block is a really good play, too. I like him. I definitely like him. On the Chicago side, Jimmy Butler is definitely in play. We saw it last week. This dude can go off for 80 at any time. Dwayne Wade is somebody who I'm not going to be very interested in. But, savvy veteran going up against a team that likes to score the basketball, and Dwayne does the dirty work, rebounds, assists, do whatever he can do to get the team a victory. So he's somebody you can definitely look at. Robin Lopez would be a really good cheap center option in this game, as well as Taj Gibson being a nice power forward option. Maybe he can get you a cheap double-double. The next game I'm going to get into is I'm probably going to have like the least amount of exposure of all the games. It is this game for me. It's the Utah Jazz going to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Is 195 point total. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the second leg of a back-to-back, but they are at home, and they are receiving 3 points from the Utah Jazz. Not much to like in this game for me, man, because I hate rostering centers against Rudy Gobert, but I don't think that I can take Rudy Gobert against the Minnesota front court, because there's some good players in there. So I would take the guy next to the guys in these games. I would go Derek Favors from the Utah side, the guy next to Rudy Gobert, and I would go Gorgie Jang, the the guy next to Karl Anthony Towns. And I wouldn't roster too much from the perimeter in this game altogether. The only guy who I really like on the perimeter in this whole game is Shelvin Mack because the price is so cheap and he's starting. It's Minnesota. They're going to try to push the pace some. But if we see a slow pace game from the Utah Jazz with Shelvin Mack leading the charge, as far as being a point guard, we can see a decent game from him. So I do like him. The next game is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder at home against the Denver Nuggets. This is a minus 7.5 point differential, 218.5 point total, the highest point total on the slate. And I like some plays in this game. I like Oklahoma City front court in this game. I do. I think that if we don't see Jokic, we're probably going to start the game with either Darrell Arthur or Nurkic. So I think that makes both of those guys in play. Nurkic the better of the two, of course. Kenneth Reed may play in this one, so we're going to need to check on that one. As far as the point guard situation in Denver, Emmanuel Mudiay, man, is hard to figure out. He's very hard to figure out. And this could be a game he plays. He has a really decent game, but he's just so hard to figure out that I would much rather go to somebody like Wilson Chandler or Danilo Gallinari in this game. Maybe play the wing and not try to attack Oklahoma City, especially Russell Westbrook at the point guard position. He's a play that I won't be having any part of. Tomorrow is too expensive. It's an 8-game slate. I can find that value anywhere, and I don't have to roster Russell Westbrook tomorrow. Same way nobody had to roster Harden last night. So I do like, of course, Cantor. I like him. I like Steven Adams, of course, as a big rebounding presence in this game. I think we can look to Andre Roberson for the very cheap. And Oladipo is a play for me, just like Gary Harris is a play from the Denver side. The next game we're going to talk about is the Dallas Mavericks at home against the Atlanta Hawks. This is also a low point total. It's 197.5 point total, with the Atlanta Hawks giving up 2 points. Now, this point total does not scare me off, just because Dallas has been playing. Dallas plays games above the point total. Like Dallas, they've been involved in some of the lowest point totals of the season. But the times that I've really watched them, I mean, they've been able to put up some points. So I don't think this game's going to be an over. If I had to bet the over under in this game, I would definitely take the over. Yeah, I would definitely take the over. Now, who do I like? I like Paul Millsap in this game on the Atlanta side. I like Dennis Schroeder. I think we can make a good choice by taking advantage of Kyle Korver being traded and put either a Tim Hardaway Jr. feather in our cap, or maybe going with Thabo Sefolosha. As you know, Kent Bazemore is dead to me, so I won't be going there. On the Dallas side, I like Darren Williams in this matchup. We can always attack the Atlanta Hawks on the perimeter, most notably at the point guard position. I like him. And if I like the point guard in the game, I've got to look some other places. I've got to. And that would cause me to really take a strong look at Dirk Nowitzki. I think I like Dirk Nowitzki in this game. The price is still right on him. He's a Hall of Fame talent. Of course, he's been hobbled. Is not as good as he's been in years past, but the dude can still stroke it, man. He can still stroke it, and it's very simple. It's something that's just as simple as coming off a nice little screen and letting Darren Williams set him up for shots. So it's very simple, and I like him in that spot. I will consider Harrison Barnes. I will give Harrison Barnes consideration in this game, just because he's trying to assume the role of the leader of the team from Dirk Nowitzki, so he's going to have to play well while he's on the court with him, and they're out there together. The next game we're going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Charlotte Hornets. I'm only rostering Hornets bench players. I'm not rostering one damn Hornets starter. Now, everybody's going to be like, oh, shit, yeah, man. Without, Nick Batum, Kemba's usage is going to go up. Yeah, but it's usage against a pop team. And I don't have to go that route if I don't want to. And I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I think that's a bad move. So I might look at Kemba, but I'm not going to have him. And I roll out 10 lineups, he'll be in one. That's where I'm at with Kemba Walker and the San Antonio Spurs perimeter defense. That's where I'm at with that. Now, on the San Antonio side, I really like Kawhi Leonard tomorrow. I think it's 11 point differential, and they're 2 207-point total with 11-point differential. I still like Kawhi Leonard, and I like LMA. I like both of them. And I think you can also look to Paul Gasol if you want to go a cheaper route. I wouldn't roster more than 2 of these guys in the game. Like, I wouldn't take the big 3, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if I go Kawhi, I would go Gasol. I wouldn't go Gasol and uh uh LMA, but I go Kawhi and LMA. I'll take advantage of that all day long. Next game I'm gonna talk about is the Detroit Pistons uh going to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. This is the last game on the slate. This is where your late night hammer is going to come from. So who do you like? I like Reggie Jackson on the Detroit side. I think it's going to be a really nice game for him. We all know Portland struggles playing defense. This coach must teach them to only play the passing lane and don't try to defend one-on-one on the ball. Because look, watch them play. They don't do it. They don't like get in the guy's grill as soon as he crosses the half court mark and like try to stay with them. They try to stay in front of them, not with them, like to really play defense. Yeah, this comes from watching games, and they play passing lanes a lot. They play that old Allen Iverson defense, you know. And I think Reggie Jackson is very smart, very savvy point guard, and he's going to find a way to really score some points and to put up some assists, maybe a nice double-double or close to it for Reggie Jackson tomorrow, which also leads me to like Tobias Harris in this game. Now that I'm thinking about it, I like Tobias Harris, and I also like Andre Drummond a little bit, but not as much as I like the opposing center on the team. This is a 212-point total with the Portland Trailblazers giving up 3 at the Motor Center, so we know they're going to be, excited and up to defend their home court. That's why I like Dame Lillard a lot tomorrow. I think CJ McCollum is going to take a back seat to Dame in this game, as they do most times when they're at home, because Dame Lillard is a really good point guard at the Motor Center. He's at his best at home. He really is. I also think we can look to Mason Plumlee, man. He's like the most safest guy at the roster because he never goes above 6K, and he never scores like 80 points and all that shit to really drive his price up. He stays fairly affordable when it comes to DraftKings salary. So I do like him tomorrow. I think we can look to Maurice Harkless in some spots. I don't like Evan Turner or Al-Farouq Amino tomorrow. I just don't think that they're going to be able to return that value that we want. So this is a really nice slate. It's going to take a lot more thought than this one did. This one was kind of a no-brain slate because whenever the point guard position is that deep, and if you're a savvy DFS player, especially like cats in the sweatshop, we want to put as many ball handlers in our rosters as possible. Well, this point guard slate is not as deep as the one from last night, from top to bottom. So it's going to take a little bit more thought, and we're going to have to get some guys that's going to be handling the ball in there like Jimmy Butler. Till tomorrow, he's a ball handler to me. Because they don't trust Michael Carter-Williams to run the offense. It's going to be a lot of Jimmy Butler, and that's the way Jimmy Butler wants it anyway. So he's somebody we're definitely going to be taking a look at tomorrow. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem. Thanking you again for bearing with me throughout another installment of the Daily Fantasy Sweatshop. This makes a really, really special time, man. Everything's happened at a really rapid rate, and it's all good. We've got so many things going on. Be on the lookout when I announce the new website launch. Going to be a lot of great stuff on there. We're working on the optimizers, getting those in there. It's going to be after we launch the website, but we're working on getting those done. Shout out to Jack, TI guy. We also got the spreadsheets popping, the Facebook VIP. There's so much shit, man. So get in, man. Become a part of this thing, man. Guys are winning. We're winning money, and we're doing it the right way by telling the truth and keeping it real with each other, right? So if you want to support the show a little further, because of course you are supporting the show in its most purest, simplest form, just by giving me your voice and watching me on YouTube. If you want to support the show further, man, there's going to be a box over here. It says support the show. Go ahead and click that box, man, and go wherever it needs to take you in order to support the show. Or you can go ahead and copy from DFS Sweatshop Swag. We need to sell 5 more shirts, and then they're going to be shipped out to us by January 22nd. So go ahead. There's going to be a link in the description to the video at the bottom. If you're a regular 300 Club member or you want to be, go ahead and copy some DFS Sweatshop Swag, man. It's real nice. 100% gilded cotton, nice white and black versions are available. We got t-shirts and hoodies if you are somewhere where it's cold. All right. Also, you can support my personal PayPal at simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com, or you can go ahead and jump in and become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, you can go to the website www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you will find a myriad of beautiful items that we offer for you, all designed to make you a profitable daily fantasy sports player. Again, this has been your DFS Jerusalem. Y'all have a wonderful, safe, and profitable weekend. We're going to start Saturday by keeping everything rolling. We've been having a really great week. Our core 4 is going to be in. The challenge is still there for everybody in the DFS Sweatshop VIP on Facebook. Come up with your core. I got mine. We're going to duke it out again. First one, I won. Only thing I have to do now is keep it 300.